Welcome to Real Estate Investing for Women. On this show, you will learn how to create wealth through real estate the blissful way. That means with very little stress and very little time. We talk about strategies, mindset, heart set, money smarts, resources, and so much more to ensure you're able to create the success you most deeply desire. Now, here's your host, Monica Sawyer.
Today, I am so excited to welcome to the show, Jess McVey. Jess is from Northwest Indiana. She started by buying rentals when she was in her early 20s and then started flipping shortly thereafter. She made some mistakes when the 2007 and 2008 markets crashed, so she took a break for about 7 years and then started back up flipping in 2015. Then she started a wholesaling business in 2021. She's done a lot of stuff. Hey there, Jess. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so delighted to have you. So ladies, I just want to let you know how I know Jess. She was a student. I hope you're going to talk a little bit about this. She was a student of Zach Booth. And it was funny when I asked Zach about his successful ladies and the people that he feels so proud of, he mentioned Jess. And so of course, I'm really excited to talk to her all about what her journey has been. So Jess, could you give us, I know I read your bio, but could you give us kind of a high level, like the story, what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So it all started when I was in college. I was good at school. It just never really felt right. I was doing well at a job that I had besides going to school. And I was looking for something that was going to allow me to retire early because I was already thinking about retirement at like 19. I know most kids don't do that.
I did.
Yeah, well, you were the rare exception, right? So I was like, so I started investing in the stock market. 2000, the tech market dropped, did very bad in the stocks, started looking at real estate investing, started really liking what I was reading. I could see myself doing it. I had more control over the investments. And so I called my dad. I said, Dad, I'm coming home from college. He's like, why? I'm like, because I want to buy rentals. I want to be a landlord. He's like, you don't know anything about fixing anything. I'm like, yeah, but I'll learn. So I came home. He helped me move home. About 8 months later, I bought my first property. And then after that, I bought 8 in 2 years or something like that. I started, as I learned, I took care of all those properties, managed all of them, rented them out, did the repairs, hired people if I had to. And then I also started flipping, did a couple flips. And, fast forward to 2006, 7, things started getting bad in the market, real estate market. People started seeing signs that there was going to be a collapse, and it did. And I did make some mistakes, but just to reiterate, I mean, a lot of people did. I really should have been that hard on myself. There's way more experienced investors than me that lost their whole everything they ever worked for in real estate. I just been doing a couple of years and bought some rentals and did a couple flips, but I was really hard on myself. I backed away from it. I kept my properties. I hired a property manager, went to Chicago, lived 27 at the time, 28, still passive investing, taking care of my properties. But I always wanted to get back into it. I was hard on myself, but I never forget what I wanted to do. And then 2015, I had an opportunity to flip a house. I did it. It was my uncle's neighbor. My uncle told me about it. I approached them. They let me buy the property. And then that set me off. And I just did 2 or 3 a year because I still had a small child, a daughter. So I wanted to be a full-time mom. But she went to school last year full-time. That's when I took it up a notch. So I was doing 2 to 3 properties, flipping, added a couple rentals, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. But as 21, when I made it, added wholesaling, marketing, I did 20 last year. So April of 2020 till April of this year, 20 deals. And from April of this year till May, 8, or I had 10, but I had to cancel 2. So I got 8 in the pipeline at some point. Yeah. Either I own them or I'm getting ready to close, or I've already closed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eight for 2 or 3 months. So it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Jess, what I love about that story, there's so much that I love about that story. I'm so delighted to be chatting with you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
First of all, I love that you started young, and I know we all can't turn back time, but it just makes my heart sing when I hear about young people that are in it, they're thinking about their future. So if you're young, if you're in your 20s, see what happens.
Yeah. So don't give up and make a mistake. Because if I would have kept going, I would be retired now.
I
would be
know.
retired. I have
Yeah.
7 years of experience and doing and making, but still I'd probably have, instead of 24 doors, I'd probably have 48 or 50. I'm sorry, when I say doors, I mean units, 48
Yes.
properties, however you want to cash flow, more rentals.
Right.
And so, but I took a break, but
But
yeah.
you know, what's also interesting is that you're right. There are very experienced investors that lost everything in the crash in 2007, 2008. It's interesting to me that you, like me, did not. You just kind of held onto your properties, took some time off, and just kind of let them ride. So that was also really, really good to hear. Why do you think that worked for you? Was it, for me, I always say that I wasn't over leveraged, and because rents went up and I had a financial cushion, I was kind of able to ride that wave that was really, really hard on people. But what was it for you?
What I think got me through that, like why it worked out okay, is because I did buy them net traditionally. I put 20% down. If anyone doesn't, well, you may or may, most people agree with this. Even if you see market drops and maybe flipping doesn't pan out, usually rents, the rental market isn't quite as affected. Now, that's not to say the pandemic didn't mess with people's rents. It was a whole different animal. For the most part, when you have market downturns or recession, rents still, people have to be able to live in a place. So I really wasn't affected too much with the rental market. They're just rentals, and they were cash flowing, breaking even. Another thing is, which I never had to do, is I do have a good job. So if I ever had to, I could have put money into my rentals. I never had to. Till this day, I bought so many at once that I can have some pay for other ones. If I have like a $3,000-$4,000 bill, something big, I got the other ones to pay for it. Right. So that helped me. Just a good rental market, like with the area I am in Indiana, it's not the place to stay rented. It's there's a demand for it. It's safe. The areas I mean, it's just, there isn't a lot of turnover. So that's the reason it helped me get past all that turmoil that happened in the first few years with the recession.
You know what? The easiest way to get into real estate is have a job, qualify for traditional financing, put 3.5 to 20% down, whatever you can come up with. And based on the program that you choose, buy a house, rent, house hack, or rent it out.
I was going to say house hack.
You can house hack it, right? Or rent it out. Primary residences are the very easiest to finance and get into, and you need to pay rent anyways. Might as well pay yourself rather than somebody else's mortgage, right? Then utilize that money to get into the next house, keep your job so that you can then do it again, right? Until you're big enough, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 properties, you've got enough equity in one property that now you've got, out. That's right. You can fold it back out. So this whole, and real estate does not have to be a full-time thing. For me, I tell people all the time, I work 5 to 10 hours a month on my real estate business. And now it's even less. So it's not a full-time thing. And eventually you can get to where you're retiring, you're working that little bit of time, whatever, but now most of your time is spending on what you would prefer to do. So I love when you talk about, I was working. And that's how I got the money, right? Because I think people forget that that's the easiest option out there. And then if things go wrong, you've still got your income, right? You're still making money. So I just love that you modeled that. Thank you, Jess.
Yes. And to add to that about waiting till you do not have a job, keep your job and do real estate, is that when you add that extra layer of, I have to make money from this, I can't survive, you will not think properly. Your
decisions are not as clean.
They're not as clean, a little more desperate, right? And you will not effectively, especially if you're trying to learn real estate, right? Like you don't even know about it. I would hope nobody would be silly enough to just stop like doing what they're doing and they don't know anything about real estate. But just to make sure you have that job so you're not working so stressed out about of that extra pressure of not succeeding. Now you have no job. Now you're surrounded trying to find a job. So yeah, I would hope like I said, that nobody would be silly enough to stop unless they had a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. If they've got some good backing, maybe
that, like
then,
if you hit the lottery, I suppose you could quit your job and still do real estate.
Well, if you win the lottery, make sure you do real estate.
Yeah, right.
Don't spend that, right? You invest it, right?
Right. For us. Yeah. For most people, it's like cars, houses. Yeah. They're all 5 primary residences.
Right. You're like, no, don't do that. Yeah. I'm with you. Shoes, purses, clothes, vacations, right? Like, yes, you deserve all those blissful things and plan for your future. Right.
Yes, right on.
So, yeah. Talk about why you did that and how that transition happened and all of that stuff.
Very, very simple. I got tired of losing deals. So that was why I started the wholesaling. So I'll back up and reiterate what that means. So I was buying 2 to 3 properties, 2015, maybe 2 or 3, 2016. Pretty easy to find those, right? 2 or 3 properties. I bought some from some auctions, sheriff sales. I bought one from auction.com, REOs. I got a couple referrals, right? Very easy. But then when I wanted to do more, my daughter was getting older, a little more independent. Even a little bit before she went to school full time, I wanted to start getting, it's like, I did 3 for 2 or 3 years. Now I want to do 5. I was putting offers in, and I was getting outbid all the time. People were bigger companies, probably have crews working for them, can come in with their rehab costs lower than mine. Just very competitive. I'm looking at wholesalers, emails, MLS. I stopped the last MLS, the multiple listing service. I put an offer and there was 53 offers. I'm like, this is pointless. This was like before it was real hot. It was like 2018 or 19. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking about wholesaling. And then 2021, I started to, I should back up. I did do 2 wholesale deals, one in 2017 and like one in 2019. Just very little marketing, got the property, was going to keep one as a rental. And then it occurred to me that I could wholesale it. And it was great. I made $17,500 in 1 month, but I didn't know how to make it a business. I didn't know how to, okay, great. I drove around my neighborhood of rental properties. I was checking on them, thought maybe I'll look around, see if anything's for sale. Lo and behold, there was. So I did that. And then in 2019, I did send some letters out, mailers to tax, probably behind on their property taxes. Mm-hmm. And I got one from that. But once again, like Zach is like, when he interviewed me, he's like, why didn't you keep going? I'm like, because I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know how to actually scale this. Right.
Right.
And so 2021, I started watching YouTube and I found Zach and I liked him and I signed up for his coaching and he filled the gaps in.
Okay.
So I got very blessed because of 20 years of fixing rentals and learning how to flip. I know how to do comparable properties, do analysis to make sure it's a deal. So I was very blessed that I knew that information. So the wholesaling part was just like, this is how you find them. You call them, you send postcards, you know what I mean? You just do your marketing and he just filled that in for me. And that's basically how it all worked out for me.
I love that you say you were very blessed because you already had this experience. And so you know how to kind of mentally have an idea of what values are going to look like, what fix-ups are going to cost and those sorts of things. Ladies, if you don't have that experience, it doesn't mean that you can't do real estate. You have other blessings.
Of course.
Right?
Yes. You just got to do a little bit more education first. It's not hard to learn any of this. You don't have to be a rocket science to learn how to go on Zillow and figure out what property sold in 3 months and how to decide they look the same. There's the same square footage. You know what I mean? Like you're not major calculations and it's literally, you can learn the stuff in 6-7 months, like easy stuff.
Easy stuff. And it's also available. When I started 30 years ago, there was none of this stuff. There was none of this stuff. And so
no YouTube, no
Zillow, no Trulia, no Redfin, nothing. There was nothing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Zach. So you went through YouTube and because this is a question that people ask me all the time. I want to find a mentor. I go on YouTube and there are 50, put it in wholesaling and, or whatever it is that you want to do, BRRRR or whatever it is you want to do, right? Flipping, wholesaling, whatever. and there, 100 people out there teaching about this strategy. How do I pick the mentor that's actually got integrity, that knows what he's doing, and is actually going to help me build a successful business? So how did you pick Zach?
Well, I didn't really interview too many. Well, I could tell you how I actually met Zach, or how I decided to watch him on YouTube. There's an app called Deal Machine. It helps you add properties if you want to drive for dollars. And he was on a podcast. I'm not like an interview. And I liked him. So I checked him out on YouTube, and I saw he had a video said 40,000
in 40 days.
40 days.
Yep.
And he did this challenge, and I watched all these, and I just really liked him. He is very genuine. He's not a really big host. He's doing very well, but when you look at his videos, he's not huge. He's not getting 1 million views, or he's small time still. He's going to be though, because he's really genuine, authentic. And I just really connected with him. And so I reached out to him, and we talked on the phone, and it was affordable. He's not really overpriced on his coaching at least at the level I picked. He might have something more maybe, but at what he offered me, I was like, well, that's a great deal to me. And so I signed up for him, but it was just he's this really easygoing, really accessible guy. He just, I know there's something about, how you connect with people.
Well, his real intention is to help people. He's not
yes,
out
you can
there.
Feel that.
You really can. And that's part of why I have you on. I've had several people on from his group, just because I really feel that I feel that from him. I feel his heart. And in every conversation that I've had with him, I really feel deeply that his intention is to really help.
Yes, and I felt like that too.
Yeah. What is it that you loved most about working with him?
I mean, I still work with him. I still texted him the other day because I had a question about a property I had under contract with a seller. First seller I ever tried to walk out from a contract on me. All these deals I've done. First one that said, I changed my mind, and I didn't know how to handle that. So I called Zach. That he just knows so much. If he doesn't know it, if it's technical, he might say, oh, Miguel, one of his team members knows, but he just knows solutions that I don't think of now. I mean, you always get all these different situations. So he knows how to properly answer them for me. That's why I like him. That's why I keep reaching out to him if I really need him. Sometimes I think I know more than I know, sometimes I'm like, I should probably have. Yeah. And I probably should. I have the ability to reach out to him more if I wanted. I just don't think to ask for help. I try to figure stuff out on my own, which sometimes isn't the best. But in this case, I knew I wasn't figuring it out. I needed some assistance and he's so experienced. He's done so many deals. And so that's why I like him.
Is he super responsive, do you feel?
I mean, well, we have group coaching calls, but if you have a deal on the line and you don't really know, he will call you back. He will make himself accessible to you. When it comes to actual deal, maybe questions about the course, or about maybe a deal in the works, you probably, wait till the coaching call, the weekly coaching call, and you can ask whatever questions you want. And it's 1 to 2 hours long. Sometimes it's been longer, 2.5 hours. He will keep going until everyone's answered. For the most part. Yes.
Okay.
But the really specific deals where you really have something right there in the moment, he'll make himself accessible.
I love that. That's so rare. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think some coaches they might be more expensive and not be as available.
And that's actually been my experience. So I really love that. I have not taken Zach's course because I'm not interested in wholesaling. You know, I'm kind of in retirement mode. Like I'm having fun. So it's important to me as we talk about him and I share about his coursework with my ladies that we've actually got some real truthful, honest, perspectives on kind of what he has to offer. But what I will say is that
he's a wholesaler.
That's he is. He's a wholesaler. He loves it. And he loves teaching it from what I understand from everybody I've spoken to. So I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. So tell me, Jess, what advice would you give to a new investor?
I would say first is to, get a mentor. I do believe you should have a coach. Somebody you could ask questions to. Yes, YouTube is great. Yes, books are great. But there's a saying I have is you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. So how do you know what to learn first? If it's just basic real estate, you could find a mentor for that. Like you don't have, if it's something very specific you want to learn, whether it's wholesaling or just you want to be a real estate, a rental landlord, you want to have a huge portfolio. There's a mentor for that. I do recommend, there's a lot of free though, besides having a coach, but have like Bigger Pockets is a very good, lot of educational, like real basic stuff. But get an education. Don't try to, there's another saying, you're going to have you're going to get an education in real estate, whether you like it or not. You do it by making mistakes that are costly, or you do the education up front to help mitigate those mistakes.
Right.
Another piece of advice is, like I said, if you do make a mistake, don't give up. It works. Nobody's successful. All the people that are successful that we know about in history usually made many mistakes and failures before they really hit it. Right. It takes sometimes years for that, because you got to be patient.
Success can't happen without failure. The only way to reach goals is to push yourself out of your comfort zone and out of what you already know. Otherwise, you just stay stagnant in what you are and what you're doing, right? And so, and when you're pushing, you're going to fail. When you were a baby and you were learning to walk, you didn't just like one day say, whoop, and get up on your feet and start walking. Maybe some of you did, but most of us didn't. You had to fall down a couple of times, right? And sometimes it really hurt, right? You start crying. So we're that same way. Every time we start something new, we have a new ambition or a new set of goals. We're that same person where we're not going to just be like, whoop, I'm up, right? You've got to learn. You've got to, and when you're a baby, right, you've got mom standing there saying, come on, dad holding you on the other side or whatever. And those are your mentors in those days, right? That's the coaching. And that's what you need too, even in your businesses. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, setting goals, making yourself accountable. I take videos. People, if they check me out, they'll see, my videos on my personal page now, but I plan on putting them on my business page, my Instagram. You can see, I don't really particularly like, I'll do videos. They're live. There's no script, or I'm just going at it, and I do that because it makes me accountable, because I know people are watching. I'm like, well, I got to make sure I do another one. I know, that's my way. That's like a little more high level, I guess, complicated, for you, not you, but people listening, they could, just put something on something out there to people telling what they're doing. So they're making themselves accountable. People ask them, well, how's it going? And then you're like, oh, okay. And you will not forget. Yeah, you won't forget. People are reminding you, or you're posting something on Facebook, and that's what can be encouraging too. People will like it, and then it's like, okay, just a little social interaction, I guess, to help encourage people to be accountable.
I love that. Yeah. So normally when I talk about accountability, I talk about it with group coaching or whatever. This was such a different perspective on accountability. I love that, Jess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I think about that, being accountable. Those videos are my accountability for myself.
Interesting. So we can be creative. Yeah. I love that. Cool.
Yes,
awesome. Jess, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. So tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. I want to hear about like your Facebook page and the Instagram and all that stuff. Let people know how they can reach you.
Okay. So, for my business page, Facebook and Instagram, it's my company. You can reach out to me through my company or me. I'm both on, obviously, as my personal, and that's my name, Jess McVey. And then, what's not that you have is my actual business is Gem House Buyers. It is spelled not the way anyone else spells it. It's JEMM is in Mary.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me, my daughter, my husband's all initials. It's Gem, but also because I look for gems, because they're not really gems, but they're gonna be. They're
the diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, exactly. They're the black diamonds. They don't look like diamonds, but they're the gem. But JEMM and double M, and then House Buyers.
Okay.
And that's on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Perfect. Yeah. YouTube as well.
And ladies, you know that Jess is a student and friend of Zach Booth, who we've heard from before. So if you're really excited about learning what she learned from him, you can still connect with him and his team. Just go to blissfulinvestor.com/Zach. So it's blissfulinvestor.com/Zach. Zach, and you'll get to talk to him or Stephanie, who you've already met. They do have someone else who's going to be working on the phones too, and I trust that that person will be just as fabulous as them. So you can definitely just go to that link and set up a time to chat with them and see if this business is a good fit for you. We saw what an amazing fit it's been for Jess, right? And we've heard from Zach a few times. So if you're interested in connecting with them, remember to go do that at blissfulinvestor.com/Zach. And Zach is ZACK. All righty. You can find this on blissfulinvestor.com, ladies, just so you know. The show notes on the podcast players tend to be shorter and don't always include the links. So go to blissfulinvestor.com so that you can actually see the blog posts. And that way you can see all the links, all the gifts, all the connections, everything there for all my podcasts. You can even do a search. So that way they can, and my team will have Jess's contact information. They'll all be links. So just so you know. Yay. All righty. So do you have anything you want to close with, Jess?
No, I mean, I think we did a pretty good job. We covered a lot. If you're new to real estate investing, don't give up. I love it. I always loved it. Even though I took a break, I knew that it could give you the financial success, whether you want to supplement your income or if you want to do it full time. It could be very financially rewarding, and it gives you other rewards as well, because if you work for yourself, of course, you can spend more time with your family, you don't have a boss and all that, but maybe you just want it because you want to plan for your future. To me, it's the best investment. It's the best investment of your time and money out there. I think they say 1% of the wealthiest people in the world, 90% of them own real estate. Of the 1% of the world, the population. So it's a great vehicle to build wealth, or even passive or active investing, wholesaling cash in your pocket, right there when you do the deals, regardless of whatever you're looking for. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah.
I always say there's a million ways to make $1 million in real estate. You just have to pick the strategy that fits best with what it is you're trying to achieve. Right.
Yes. And whatever you pick, if you're diligent, you will be successful at it. You'll make money at it. You'll do it. You'll achieve your goals if you whatever you decide to choose to do. So yeah.
I love that. Jess, thank you so much for sharing all this amazing wisdom with us.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Glad. I'm very blessed to have. Thank you for letting me share my story and some advice to do other investors out there. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. My pleasure. And ladies, thank you so much for joining Jess and I for this show. You know how much I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, remember, goals without action are just dreams. So get out there, take action, and create the life your heart deeply desires. I'll see you soon. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you'd like to find out more about how to become a blissful millionaire, go to blissfulinvestor.com. See you next time.